Hello everybody and welcome back to Last Minute Kick Out, the show of LMCs where we discuss nothing but what happens between the ropes and the squared circle. It is of course me, Kevin. I am joined by a man with a belt next to him, John Turbo Finley. Have you noticed?
Didn't last long.
Have you noticed a trend, everybody? Turbo can predict really awful wrestling shows. I can predict really good ones. This was close. This was close.
It was.
And mainly due to the fact that we both thought it was the same one. We both picked... Turbo picked his, and then I looked at him and I went, crap. Because that was exactly what I was going to pick. So for the benefit of the show, I swapped out Intercontinental with Mr. Hardy, because I thought, well, if they're not going to take it off somebody, they're not going to take the belt off Jeff.
And you chose poorly.
I chose poorly.
But here's the thing: we did have something extra.
We did have something else going, because.
So
as you
really,
guys know,
all honestly,
as you guys know, this card went to shit. So Turbo randomly put in like on his predictions. Number of times 24/7 title will change.
Yeah, as a kind of like an extra thing for the thing, because they had to spice it up somehow during this era, obviously. And the 24/7, it's it's Clash of Champions. That's a title. Let's put it on the show somewhere.
I was going to say, I thought you said it's Nia Jax. Let's put her on the show somewhere. I was gonna be like, well, turns out no. Turns out no. Yeah, so you went with two, I think, didn't you? You went with two changes.
With two title changes, yeah.
And then it was like, well, I'll go with three on the basis that, R-Truth might not get it back straight away. Somebody else might take it off him.
Yeah.
So there was a chance that the 24/7 title could have saved me. If only somebody else had bothered to go for it during, the 8 years that this program was on. But they didn't. So anyway, Turbo's champion and the Night's Poster gets to go back up.
Hey, it doesn't matter.
I don't like how this title's been booked, by the way. It's being hot potatoed around quite a lot.
I'm sorry, hot potatoes? I had to go through three bloomin',
Oh, you mean but you only had it for 3 weeks, and I only had it for a week.
It's like,
we got Hell in a Cell coming up, man. You got on now.
Jeez.
Oh dear. So anyway, Clash of COVID.
We didn't have to go through this crap.
Clash of COVID. The Cold Rush, whichever way you want to call it. I can talk. I know I'm bunged up. But yeah, what were your overall thoughts of this before we start the old breakdown per match? Because as I said, it was all the mess.
Yeah, it was like all things were chopped and changed and whatnot at the last minute because of certain problems that came about. But overall, I actually thought it was actually a decent showing. Like, this is probably like one of the, because most times at Clash of Champions, I'm kind of like thinking, this is not gonna be great and whatnot, and but bar a couple of matches, it was all right, and possibly a third. It's like I'm kind of like weighing on. I'm still weighing on it, and it's actually something that we kind of like thought, oh well, that happened.
Yeah, that happened, and it was. So, the SmackDown Women's Title match didn't happen in the way that we thought it would, because we lost Nikki Cross due to unforeseen medical issues that definitely isn't coronavirus, but we're gonna say that we're gonna keep it ambiguous just in case. But by the way, you're not going to see her for 2 weeks at the very least. Also, the women's tag team title match was off because medical issues. They're just not medically cleared, and it's not COVID. But we'll keep them off TV for a couple of weeks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then that sort of bit into other things.
I just hate how WWE are just trying to think that this is not a thing. It's like Vince.
It was a bad week for wrestling as a whole with coronavirus.
Oh yeah,
as you know, because same situation happened in AEW.
This is the same kind of like problem that what was it? Like Vince doesn't like to acknowledge like small things that would take a wrestler down, like a stomach flu or something like that. Remember that big stomach virus
superstars can't
around.
be human. Superstars can't be human. They have to be greater. They have to be beyond mere mortals. So the fact that somebody's they're sick or they're depressed or anything like that definitely is not something that is allowed to happen.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how they want to keep this like covered up, and it's like they can acknowledge it, but they can't acknowledge it to affecting their own superstars. They can acknowledge the pandemic that's going around outside.
If they'd have actually said, this is one of those things where WWE obviously gets it hopelessly wrong at sea, trying to take over everybody's social media stuff at the minute. Mm-hmm. How's that going for you? Paige is doing research. Fear Paige. She's gonna lawyer up.
You know what? She's just going to next kind of like stream she does. She just obviously she'll do the meme, but she'll be wearing like a business suit and a ledger, and just goes, "Paige here."
So they've got more respect. This is the thing, because the same thing that we had with AEW and all the problems that snakebit show that AEW had. This was WWE's equivalent, although not nearly as bad. No. They'd have got a lot more respect and say, look, our stringent testing found that these guys suffering corona, or they've had contact traces with corona. For the sake of them and for the sake of the rest of the WWE family, we're putting a pause on this. We'll present you with something else tonight. Card subject to change and all that, but for the safety of the crew and everybody and specifically the performers, we care about the performers. That's why they're not here. Didn't do that because they're WWE. Naturally enough, did not do that. And this, and I was, because we were discussing this. Obviously, while all this was going on, and one of the things that I pointed out was that Baszler, if you've seen Up, Up, Down, Down, you'll know about this. She lives with like 4 or 5 of the others, the other female stars from NXT and WWE. They're like roomies together. So unsurprised, one of those people is Maya Yim, or whatever the fuck she's called now. From Retribution. So unsurprisingly, you had all this happen down, and then Retribution magically didn't turn up, and were kept off TV for a couple of weeks because contact tracing. You got somebody who's living with somebody who's potentially had a positive contact.
Yeah.
Which means that the person they're hanging around with. So we've gone to secondary and tertiary now. In terms of contact, so that's all the Retribution then potentially exposed to corona. So it all sort of snowballs, and WWE have had like a bunch of injuries since then, especially on NXT. It's been a really bad couple of weeks for WWE.
Yeah,
from a reputation point of view and for a talent getting the crap kicked out of them point of view.
Yeah, we're recording this after Takeover 31, and just a small thing on that. Really good show, but a couple of hiccups here and there in terms of like pacing for matches and stuff like that. But other than that, still a good Takeover. Still watch it.
Pacing on a takeover show is actually kind of unusual. I think actually a pacing issue on a takeover show. They're normally pretty bang on with those.
I've had issues there was 3 matches where the same angle was being used throughout the match as a way of like keeping the match going, and that was like working the left arm. It's like, I'm sorry, when you have it by the second match that was happening in like a match, that was what they were using. I was like, okay, this is getting boring now. Why you all do? And then when the third time, it's like, did anyone proofread their blooming matches?
We've had that in WWE as well, just like there's the same moves and same finishes. But you say that I was watching it came up on the network suggestions the other day. I wonder why, bearing in mind the season. But Halloween Havoc 97 came up.
Oh.
And I watched it, just sort of like, just fast forward it a bit. And it was like 3 matches in a row where somebody was tripped and then dragged to a pole and then boom on the pole. And it's like, unsurprisingly, by the third time, it wasn't really getting much of a reaction.
No, I wouldn't have thought.
It's like this is like the same damn thing. Oh, anyway, so we had that situation. It was all very unfortunate. Baszler and Jax both said they're not sick, but that's they must have had some kind of contact that required self-isolation, which then affected everybody else. Yeah. So it might well have then come from my Yim side, just because then it would make sense that the contact to Baszler then to Jax and not the other way around. Don't know, but I don't think we saw any of the others from that household, by the way. In that time, they might not have been mentioned anything, but I don't think they were on TV in any way, shape, or form. Right, so that took us into Clash of Champions, which was indeed subtitled "The Gold Rush." Is that another trademark that WWE desperately wants to use somehow in order to keep it out of the hands of AEW?
I don't know, possibly. It's like,
I know we're getting NXT Halloween Havoc now.
I don't know if they've been subtitling. I don't know if the subtitles are trademarked by the company.
They need to prove that they're in use, so I think this is why they're doing it. Because that's what they had. Because they did that with like the In Your House stuff, and
I recall, what was it? One of a gauntlet match being called the Gold Rush, or like there was a Gold Rush tournament or something like that.
There was back in.
They've been using the term.
Was it back in like SmackDown 6 type era? Wasn't there a Gold Rush tournament then?
Yes, I can recall something like that.
Because Swore Eddie was in it.
Yeah, I think it was like for the US title, or
it probably was US title.
Yeah,
the Gold Rush tournament, and then you'll be booked.
It was either the US title or the world title at that time.
Probably both, frankly.
Either or. So, but no,
the US title went nowhere. I can tell you that.
It's not a term that hasn't been used before. It's like in the company, but they're using it for a term for a pay-per-view rather than a match this time around. So.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, I'm expecting more and more WCW names just to suddenly appear as part of NXT.
Well, I was going to say we already have that with. Expect Spring Stampede in. In February then, if that's the case.
They need to get the bunkhouse brawl or whatever it was that Cody wanted. They'll somehow give an excuse for that. Well, it'd be a bit difficult if they were going to go out the same bloody place, but
I was gonna say, if WWE want to have the King of the Road match happen on an NXT show, by all means, go nuts, WWE, because that was a belter.
Right.
Anyway, look,
we kicked off. We kicked off with the pre-show, the kickoff, whatever you want to call it. With the SmackDown Tag Team title on the one line after much moving around, because at one point it looked like the only women's match was going to be on the kickoff show, and that's a bad look.
That would have been a bad.
That would have been a bad look, but fear not, things were at hand. So we had the champions of Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura defeating Lucha House Party. Kalisto and Dorado, with a nice, just shy of 11-minute match.
It was actually nice. I didn't have too much high hopes for
Nobody did.
this. Yeah.
Nobody did.
But here's the thing. This is a New Day versus Usos kind of like caliber of like proving people wrong on these guys, and it showed because you were seeing like because obviously it's big guys working with little guys. That usually tends to go well if the little guys are athletic enough and the big guys are talented enough to, put them over with, very impressive moves. And they did that. They did that in spades, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that, it's Cesaro, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Cesaro, who we know can do anything.
Pretty much.
Anything with the exception of, please, Vince McMahon. That's the only thing that Cesaro can't do for some reason. We've got Shinsuke Nakamura, who appears to be just enjoying himself in this tag team. He's enjoying working with Cesaro because Cesaro's strong style himself.
That was the same with Sheamus, wasn't it? And it's like with Sheamus and Cesaro, they were having fun times. Yeah. Now Shinsuke's getting to
feeling a bit more like himself again, which is good to see. But the other thing is, Lucha House Party are no slouches. They just don't get time to work, and they were given some time to work here. So it really shouldn't be that much of a surprise to us that it actually was pretty good. Also, Gran Metalik was on the outside, which is probably one of the better places for him because he still hasn't got WWE ring and style yet somehow. But then again, he's not been given time to work, so there you go. As you say, one of the better outings in the kickoff shows recently, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It made me kind of like bring some attention to it because previous kickoff matches in several months and whatnot, I'm just like really, I don't care for this. So it's good. It's good that this was different finally for a change.
Yeah, it's also good that I doubt they're going to go with this. But to actually have Lucha House Party be more of a threat on the tag team scene, because SmackDown's a little bit shy on tag teams now.
Yes, they need to have.
They need tag teams. Yeah. We've taken the Usos out of it because of storyline.
It's not only storyline; it's also injury, I believe.
And injury. New Day are out of it because of injury.
Mm-hmm.
Still, realistically, Viking Raiders are out of it.
Yeah, both of them are out.
Yeah,
because one was legit. One was taken out in a match, and the other just went to surgery anyway because he had found an issue. Made something issue in his arm, and
actually made sense. Made sense if you're a tag team and you've got injuries. Hey, you both might as well take care of them now at the same time.
Yeah, that was the misfortune of the Office of Pain, the AOP.
Yeah.
Where one was on the shelf, the other one was doing nothing, and then when they got together again, the other one got injured, and the other one couldn't do anything.
And now they're both doing nothing.
Which is
unfortunate. And all for the love of a Paul Ellering, as we've said.
So they do just need to get some tag teams on it. Like I know they got Miz and Morrison, but Miz and Morrison are too busy messing around in other storylines to go for it.
Miz and Morrison are tied up in crap storylines, so they can't be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, who do you think should join the tag title scene on SmackDown? Who's going to be the ones to step up? Tell us in the comments if you can, if you're watching the YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a very good thing to get. It's WWE, so it's a kind of a lackluster feeling anyway. I was streaming yesterday, and I was talking about LMKO and the fact that we were going to record it, and Edgehead, you'll know from Andy's and sometimes ours. He said somebody still watches WWE. I basically went to him, not entirely through choice.
It's like I'm the only one who actually pays for the bloody network.
This is true, but if WWE watching, we all pay for it. I just happen to be in John's social bubble.
Unlike other kind of like, I'm not gonna name any names, like other publications who review kind of like things and whatnot. They usually just watch the thing off of other
other services,
other services and whatnot. You know, it's like me, nah.
Yeah.
It's like if I'm wanting to, talk about the product, I'll have to pay the product so I can get my point. Talk about it legitimately. So
speaking of other online publications, which has nothing to do with what you were talking about, why have you got a nickname now? I was gonna bring. I forgot. I wasn't gonna bring this up, but then I just remembered. So if you remember the last show, everybody, when this one's moonlighting on bloody Cultaholic for one of their shows, he's got his own nickname now. He's Jukebox John.
No, it wasn't because of me. It was because of Tom himself and the Cultaholic chat. It's like the chat just called me Jukebox John. It's like because
they've got a lot to answer for
because I was forced to sing on air and whatnot. So
well, they've got a lot to answer for. I'm not saying that because I've got a WCPW hoodie on. It's anyway, Jukebox John over here, who I'm guess is going to come out, is going to be like a 50s rock and roll version of Disco Inferno.
Well, not.
You're going to be the honky tonk man's protege. This is what it's going to be. It's Jukebox John coming to the ring in a pink Cadillac. With a waitress girl on roller skates in the passenger seat. That's what's going to happen.
Oh god.
That's what's going to happen. Jukebox John, the future
of the business
of sports entertainment. And karaoke of video game tracks.
Hey, retro. Hey, everyone likes that retro bollocks. Nowadays it's like
he's gonna be the Matt classic of karaoke. Oh dear. All right, so moving into main card, the highly reorganized main card, we got a triple threat ladder match between the champion Jeff Hardy, hang on a minute, I used to be the champion AJ Styles, and they took the belt away because I didn't want to be in a situation where my health was at risk. Sami Zayn. This lasted a good chunk of time, longest match of the night by a distance. It was 26 minutes 35 seconds. And this match got some rave reviews.
And well deserved, I say. Because I definitely loved this match. Like the innovation that was... now, you had typical Jeff Hardy stuff, which was a given, obviously. If there's a ladder, he must jump off of it and break through somebody else through another ladder.
You can't powerbomb Billy Kidman. If there's a ladder, Jeff Hardy will fall off it or jump off of it somehow.
Yeah.
Is two of the key rules of wrestling.
Yeah, essentially.
Along with whoever brings out the table gets put through it. I don't know why anybody even bothers bringing out tables. Although that rule has
been broken a couple of times.
I know. And sometimes the table hasn't been broken. And
it laughs.
It does indeed. It declares itself to be what it is.
Yes. I watched the Botchamania. That was it did highlight the kind of like messing up of the thing. I didn't really see the mess up.
No.
In this match, too, trying to position the ladder between the ring apron and the commentary desk and whatnot. Didn't really see that fault and whatnot, but everything else, like all the stuff that was going on in the match was really, really well put together. It's like Sammy, AJ, Jeff, all had great kind of like workmanship to work with the ladders and work with what they got, and Sammy, the mad genius himself,
he looks like a mad genius.
Indeed, and he did it. He played it right, getting the handcuffs out to cut to. Now remember, obviously, we had the Hell in a Cell bit with Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy, where Randy Orton took a screwdriver and put it in his ear.
Yeah, we had that.
Yeah. Wouldn't you know it? Sammy goes one step further. He cuffs Jeff's ear to a ladder, and I'm like, the bloody genius. Going back and working with Jeff Hardy, and thank God Jeff Hardy is, pierced his ears to have those earring, like enlarged earring holes to put in there.
It's just like,
I know you're cringing at it.
I cringed at it. I read before when we talked about it, like when it talked about it at the time. But I mean, thankfully, of course, in this situation, Jeff's got control of it so much.
Yeah, it's not being twisted around.
I was really cringing when he was up with the ladder.
Yeah, he's carrying it.
No, not even that. Not even that. No. Just after it was done, and Jeff was kind of there, and then Sammy started hitting it. Because I thought for a minute the ladder, because ladder was upright, and it was going to tip that way, and either pull him or rip it, and it was just like, no.
You were thinking too much.
I was thinking too much. It was because it started to go. It you just sort of went a little bit that way, and then it was sort of corrected and caught. Because I'm not sure Jeff was sure realised there was going to be a punch coming. So, yeah. The fact that Jeff then carried on and did a couple of offensive moves, but that he's holding this ladder, which is literally attached to his fucking ear, it was insane. Also, who is it who did the duct tape? Who is it who duct taped somebody that one time, and they won a ladder match that way? Was it Cena Orton?
Well, I know Cena Orton was the TLC match for the unified titles, and that was handcuffs again. It wasn't duct tape. I can't remember who did duct tape. And
somebody duct taped their feet. Yeah, it was indeed Cena on Batista.
Must have been a while ago.
Cena on Batista. Yeah, this is at least 2010.
No, but I know something recent.
Extreme Rules. Extreme Rules. They had a. I think it might have been a.
The I Quit match.
No, it might have been a Last Man Standing match. I think.
All right.
I think that was why, but yeah, Cena used that.
I remember them having an I Quit match, but hey. No, it's like what was it? The handcuff spot with Cena and whatnot. I remember Cena being handcuffed to the ropes and stuff like that. But no, what Sammy did for obviously you had him handcuffing Jeff to the ladder, but then it's like it's like handcuffs himself to AJ after AJ hit him with I think what did he hit him with? Did he hit him for the Stars Clash first?
No. There's no Stars Clash.
For normal for him or
Pele kick maybe. So it was something. He hit him with something that was hard enough to knock him down, and Sammy was smart enough to realise I'm not going to be able to get up in time, and he had the handcuff open, and then he went on his own himself. Because then he obviously he's like, you can't pull my dead weight up if I don't want you to.
That was really good of him. Like
sometimes there's space in a match.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, they're not sure what they're doing, but they've lost their way in what they were planning to do. But there was like a good minute where Jeff's on the outside, Sammy's down, and AJ's just looking at the ladder like what the heck am I supposed to do? But it made sense. It was so utterly bamboozling. It was like, well, who could win now? And AJ just not having a clue what to do. It really worked. It really worked. This one. Yeah.
It just. I just found it to be really good, like really entertaining, like so.
The coup de grace Sammy having the key in his mouth, they'd be able to do it, undo his own,
his cuff.
slapping it like doing it in such a way that there's no way he can reach either. It was just so smart all the way through, just showing Sammy to be a diabolical genius. Also, in fairness, they did a good build up towards this as well, in terms of putting over everybody's capabilities within a ladder match. They didn't skimp on saying that Sammy has got experience, as well. And naturally, they make it sound like Jeff's like the ladder god. Yes, I think that's in much the same way that Buried Alive is the Undertaker's match. Yeah. This is the Undertaker's match, and he's barely won.
Yeah,
just the same with Jeff. Haven't they won like one ladder match, the Hardy Boys, which was for the bounty? And they've not won a damn thing since in the ladders.
No, it's like what was it? The only other time would have been at WrestleMania when they returned.
Ah, that's true. And also the battle with the Bucks that they had. That was before that. WWE. But I know it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It never happened, and it never will. But all the same.
But no, overall, really good match. And Sammy won, which was great for me. Because
it wasn't great for me.
No, of course it wasn't.
After one match, we already knew that Turbo had won. That's how things went. It really was kind of unfortunate. Something that wasn't unfortunate was the Raw Women's title match, which followed it, where Zelina Vega got to be a wrestler because,
she's competent.
I'm not. Yeah, that's my point. My point was WWE suddenly realised that she was a wrestler, and she was allowed to wrestle, and it was all right. It
was fair. Yeah, it was fair. It was a fair match in terms of like work rate and whatnot. Couple of, I'm guessing because Zelina Vega's not really been like constant with her work. Like she's not been obviously back into the flow of wrestling for too long. Like it's only been in the last month or so. But I've known she can go and whatnot based on her kind of like aiding performance in the fighting my family, cinematic movie documentary thing, story, whatever they want to call it. I don't know.
Wasn't she AJ in that?
She was AJ, yes.
Yeah. Lee, not Styles, guys. She could play AJ Styles as well, frankly, with that hair, but.
But it's like it was a fair match. Asuka, obviously, like she's not been as dominant as before in past things, because they actually tried to make Zelina Vega a certain threat as such. Like she tried to be like toe to toe with Asuka. So
they played the old, she's not taking us seriously, and it's gonna thing. And to go back to what you were saying earlier, it was all working the arm.
Yeah,
nothing but left up, which was actually nice to see, because
it's fine for happening on this show.
Absolutely, it's nice to see somebody like target a body part and then just like absolutely stay on it. You don't see that outside of
But here's the thing: I didn't see that spot happen throughout the rest of the night. At least it was like concentrated in that one match, to my knowledge, or to my recollection. It's been a while since we've watched it, so obviously I haven't rewatched it again to kind of like refresh my kind of like thoughts on it. But it's like it's fine if it's like worked in just one match. But if it's happening in several matches afterwards, then I'm going
unless it's like specifically one of those it's every match is a submission match pay-per-views, I can't remember the name of what it used to be, but it was just like every match is a submission match.
Breaking Point.
Was it Breaking Point? Was that it? Oh, well
Yeah.
done. Well done.
That was the one pay-per-view where everything was like a submission match of some kind.
AEW Breaking Point coming soon. There's oh, my camera's being weird. Stop that. I exist. I know you're bored, camera, but deal with it.
Yeah, well, don't worry. It's like, as you guys can see, mine doesn't want to cooperate with me either.
He's turbo. He's that quick. He's just like Gaussian blur.
I'm a follow the turbo shaped blur.
Indeed, follow the turbo shaped blur on Twitter at TurboXLR, and on Twitch at Turbo Drive Live. We've got actually there was some really nice bits in this match. There was the stuff at the end with the disrespect and Asuka being pissed, which then folded.
You see, Asuka never watched the Karate Kid.
Asuka never watched the Karate Kid, no.
Yeah,
apparently not.
It's like it's like look eye, always look eye. Mr. Miyagi with the words of wisdom.
With the words of wisdom.
Yes, always bow.
Asuka was too trusting. Xena got in a cheap shot. And then on Raw, she nearly had her arm ripped off for it. The commentary team on there, by the way, didn't actually say that this was a receipt. They just went, "Oh, she's holding onto the arm for too long. What's up with that?" You know, it's just like, well, she's kind of annoyed. Hence, she grabbed the microphone and screamed into it after the match. But there was a lovely bit where it was like from like a reverse jackknife pin, and then there was like Asuka used her leverage and pretty much just levered Zelina off into a different pinning combination, which was really nice. Really, really nice. We got to see some different pinning combinations in this, which I was very happy to see. We saw another one later from somebody else, which was really good. And yeah, it was all well and good for this match. Asuka got to be angry. Asuka kept the title, which is exactly what it should have been.
Yep.
And that was your first women's match of the evening, and the first time you would see Asuka, although we wouldn't know that yet. Moving on to the WWE United States title match where Bobby Lashley defeated Apollo Crews. So anyway,
yeah, next match.
Seriously.
Fuck me.
As much as I actually really enjoy the Hurt Business, and I really enjoy that bit.
That's
MVP,
fair for you because I'm not.
MVP is the perfect front for that.
I'm fine for him talking.
Yeah, as the mouthpiece of this, as a manager who wrestles, as dare I say it, as almost a modern Bobby Heenan he could be technically, because he's the guy you want to see get his ass beat. He's the guy who's really smart and has the mouth to back it up. He can wrestle. He can do commentary. You know, he could be. You know, well find his calling in his latter career. But no, Apollo Crews came out and then lost again, and it lasted 8 minutes 15. And
you know who else was there?
Ricochet was there. Ricochet was there because he's Apollo Crews' friend, and I guess in the week since he lost, he found a friend in Ricochet. Plus, Ricochet hasn't been doing anything for a while, which is criminal.
Yes, it has been very criminal.
It's a criminal offence to effectively
man with that
Ricochet.
Much talent.
Then Ricochet should be having preposterous matches with Ali. That's what Ricochet should be doing. In fact, if that's what Retribution ends up being, Ricochet leading the fight against them, then yeah, sure. I mean,
hold on. Have you seen this past Raw?
Oh, I know Ali's the head of Retribution. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so why are you saying that?
No, Ricochet leading the fight against Retribution so he can then have course of matches with Ali.
Okay. Right. I thought you were saying fighting against Ali is like...
Oh, yeah. Ricochet's fighting against Ali in the sense that, yeah. Also, at least they were able to somehow justify the SmackDown hacker tacitly without properly saying it.
Well, supposedly.
Yeah, in before the SmackDown hackers Ricochet.
Yeah, they haven't said anything yet.
They haven't said anything. They're just leaving it. They're letting the audience.
Plus, it's the draft tomorrow. It's the draft on Friday. So
yep, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it for an inevitable split up of two people, and I'm quite happy about it. Some people, other people won't be very happy about it, but we'll get to that. No, it was just like their other bloody matches.
Yeah.
It really was.
It's just something I just did not want to get invested in it.
It was a lower mid card. It was a lower mid card Raw match, and there's nothing else to be said about it, really.
No.
Right, this is where the card starts going downhill. It's WWE.
What? You thought the previous match wasn't the start?
No, I mean it was a
me.
match. It was a match. I mean, it wasn't good, but it was kind of serviceable in its own little way. The US title's grown on me. The newer US title design has grown on me. I will say that.
That's fine. It's just the people fighting for it is just the problem now.
I need more of Lashley being a dick. Which sounds an odd thing to say, but if you guys have ever seen his TNA run when he was champ and was just a colossal dick. If he goes absolute mega heel, Lashley is a fun thing to watch. Just watching Lashley go. Just being this really old high school jock, basically, who could just do anything to anybody, and who's going to stop him? Right, so this match, the Street Profits, who are somehow still Raw Tag Team champions.
I forget how long they've had the titles.
Are they like the longest reigning Raw Tag Team title tag team?
If they have been, by God, that is
it's something absolutely preposterous. I think it's the longest who've held the belts since this iteration of the Raw Tag Team titles. Tag team titles seem to go a lot. So if they're in the 300 days or something preposterous now, then I don't get it. And the shooting the red cups at them when they come in the thing, it's just like, yes, I know, but no. It just came off as kind of like hokey. Just let them be. Let them be super. I know they are hokey for the most part.
Well, here's the thing: it's like compared to their NXT run, they are way more hokey in this run than they than they have been.
Coming to the main roster ruined them. That's not a thing that's happened before. That's why everyone keeps going back to NXT at the minute, because they're like, oh my God, please.
Oh, there's so many people.
There's so many people returning and having a much better time with things. You know how people have. Well, let's see. We've got Balor's been at the top of the card. We've got Breezango as the tag champs. With Ember Moon's back now, and she'll be setting up to be the next monster that everyone has to go against to properly build up the women's division again. Yeah, she'll get an Oscar run, and then somebody else will play the part of Ember Moon. Ironically enough, in that, so that's good. Oh dear, we got.
But yeah, this match.
You talk about this match because it's.
Yeah, it's like they tried to work together with Andrade and
Angel
Gaza. Angel Gaza working together, and it's like the storyline. It's like we thought that these two were already gone, and then they changed their mind, and then they come back to face up against the Profits one more time, and all for the sake of only a few like not much of a long match, because like mid, about I don't know what was like 4 minutes into the match, It's like Garza was injured, like he was not right, so they just said just go to the finish and whatnot. There was a Spanish fly done in the match that I thought, oh my god, they almost killed themselves.
Yes.
It's
When
like,
somebody said to me, "Oh, they're," because I watched it later, and when I heard that Garza was injured, and that occurred, I was like, "Oh, he's hurt himself there," and it wasn't. But
no,
by God, was he lucky that he wasn't even more hurt doing that Spanish fly. That was awful.
That and Ford, I think it was.
Yeah,
that was in the position.
Both of them could have been very, very, very severely hurt from that Spanish fly.
Because they were like
they stuffed.
They
it.
were not stable on that.
they were
not stable.
Absolutely stuffed it. That.
Yeah.
And very lucky boys they are. But was it Garza? If I remember right, Garza ran in with like a really high running knee, which actually looked quite nice. And he did something to his hip.
I kind of
doing
mind.
So.
If that was the case, it's like I thought it was like a knee injury or something like that.
Well, when he went down, he was holding his hip and he was trying to like flex the hip.
Right.
So I don't know. Nobody wasn't quite sure what it was, but it definitely was on that. The speed of that movement and that impact. I think he might have.
Yeah.
Do we actually know what the actual official word is on that injury? What it is?
I thought it was a tear. I thought it was like a tendon tear in his leg. I thought it was the knee.
I mean, we're so used to the knee.
Worked in it. He just.
I know. He was specifically.
I thought that was the case.
He was specifically feeling that, and he was flexing the leg. I just wonder if he's like tore something and then like almost like tore it out of his socket almost.
All I remember, he was on the shelf. After that night, and but I don't know. I can't remember what he was in for now. So
Andrade carried on.
Just get to the finish.
Get to the finish. We didn't get to the finish. What we had was there was a signature move. There was a signature move. He got pinned. Andrade kicked out, and the ref didn't see it. Leading to Andrade to be like, they're like, hang on a minute. Andrade was kind of pissed off.
Actually, yeah, I remembered that.
Andrade was kind of pissed off afterwards, and so were the Street Profits. The Street Profits were like, yeah, we can still keep going. We can still do this. Nah.
It's like, no, that guy is injured. Let's finish this.
Instead of making, giving Andrade a little bit of a rub in terms, because that's what you can do in that situation. It's like, okay, well, Garza's injured. Well. Get the profits get their win no matter what now, but we can make Andrade look a bit good in the meantime. Even if we've got like a minute or so, we can have him like fighting back against the pair of them, and sow a seed for another day. Andrade is still. I don't understand why he's not in US title hunt, because he kind of fit in there. He kind of fit in there quite nicely. Let him be
getting back in again.
Yeah, let him be a nasty little tactician, a little tactical wrestler. It happened in 8:15. Curtailed. God knows how long it would have actually lasted if it hadn't. And the Street Profits are still Raw Tag Team Champions, and why?
Just have to suffer through another.
Just to think, we could have had that. So. We could have had that on the pre-show, and that would have been very pre-show worthy. And we could have had the quartet, the SmackDown quartet, tear the house down, and it would have been a far better main show. But no. Speaking of characters coming out and being dicks, Bailey, who continues to be the best Bailey, heel Bailey, who's closing in on the year, and I hope they don't, rob her of that year, because they could. They could. She's so close to getting the year.
I mean, what was it? The projected kind of like path right now is her working with Sasha Banks. Now I thought they would work a program without the title.
They might well have been going to do that. And they might well do that still. But we do know that remember, it's the one belt that Sasha's not won. So they'll want to do that.
Yeah.
They want to do that. But yeah, Bailey coming out being absolutely amazing on the hype. It's like,
well, it's like
raise the hands, nobody's out. I'll offer a free go to anybody who's at the back. What's that? No, nobody. Okay, right, I've won. Absolutely amazing. And her continued screaming at Michael Cole at any given point in time. It's not like one of these, situations, Michael. No, it's like you treat me with respect. Just hates Michael Cole for some reason.
Oh, she hates him, all right.
Oh, it's wonderful. Every single time now. Graves gets the jacket in the face from Big E, and Cole gets ripped a new one by Bailey. I
think that's obviously that's more calmer than the with Corey Graves and whatnot, because obviously it's all those pent up anger issues of Cole being like the voice of the GM and his
Cole
heelish.
As always, Cole is unfortunately as we said before, Cole is unfortunately the mouthpiece for the people behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Or the person behind the curtain.
So just seeing this is like a small sliver of
there was a very bad commentary this particular pay-per-view. The previous pay-per-view was actually quite good, as I recall, in terms of the commentary. Cole was just clearly being yelled at half the time, just to yell, to scream this, and hence he was screaming half the time. He's himself during all the matches.
I'm surprised he didn't lose his voice again. Although, granted, this is only a 3-hour show and not a 7-hour slog.
He has to he's got yelling in his head like 24/7. It feels like. But yeah, so Bailey would get a challenger in the form of Asuka, which was short. Very short, because it would be ended by DQ by the returning Sasha Banks. And this match has spoiled the Sasha Banks-Bailey feud for me. Because previously I was really looking forward to Sasha Banks and Bailey properly getting off this really slow burn. And in the meantime, we'd had the proper turn, the further turn of Bailey. And it made sense in the character because Bailey pulled the trigger because she knew Sasha would pull the trigger because Sasha has done it multiple times before. So Bailey was actually smart and got in there first and stabbed her in the back before she could stab her and take the title. And unfortunately, we had Bailey Asuka. And this was really, really good. And I'm really sad we don't get a Bailey Asuka feud now.
It happens.
It's like
you give us something that would be a good
match,
and then you just
this coming is like yes, and then there's this fantastic entree full of all the best foods possible. We've got this main course coming, but in the meantime, would you like this? Yes, I would. Well, here comes no. Bring that back. That looks really good.
Your window of opportunity has come and passed. Bye bye.
Yeah, but no, come back. But that's really no, please. Seriously, I so want a Bailey Asuka feud now. I didn't realise I wanted one, but the current version of Bailey, who is doing more stuff and there's another one who's like really happy and clear in her role, and is more back towards the Bailey of NXT in terms of moves and stuff and crispness. Yeah. Asuka got to come out in a different mask though, so she was happy. And there was a blue one as well, so she came out to SmackDown in the blue one.
She was like, she was really wanting that title.
Bailey did a Triple H Cactus Jack style. No, you can't scream at everybody. She blamed Michael Cole. She blamed everybody. It was great. And then sad Sasha came out and then hit her in the back with a chair, which was a really loud chair shot, by the way. Yeah. That was a stiff old chair shot.
Well, that or they definitely turned up the microphones for that.
Yeah. For that particular moment, anyway. In which case,
turn on the microphones more.
I know, but in which case, well done to Kevin Dunn on that for actually having the timing on that to actually have it. 'Cause it made it sound like her entire spine was broken. So, yeah, again, not much to say about this because it was so short. It leads into the situation. Oscar defeated Bayley by DQ because Bayley had already cheated and got the chair. And was having none of it, which was perfect heel reasoning. Also went after the arm, following on from the previous one, so that was nice to see. Not much else to say about that one, other than yes, we've got to have this other stuff now with Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I mean that's the only drawback I think was Sasha Banks coming out to make the attack with the brace still on.
God,
it's like, I'm sorry guys, it's like she had her bloomin' neck crushed by Bayley,
Pillmanized,
with a chair, with her head in the chair.
Yeah,
it's like, come on guys, you couldn't have her off TV, like off of the programming a little longer. Like 2 or 3 weeks is not enough. It's like you need.
It's modern WWE, isn't it? It's like they're desperate to get this rushing forward now. But I'm hoping, and this is very much a hope situation, that what they do is the sensible thing, which is to say, nobody actually really needs the SmackDown title at the minute. This feud does need it. Keep the belt on Bayley. Have a humongous run with it, because she's not doing anything wrong with it at the minute by any way, shape, or form. Have Banks put over to Raw. Banks wins the Royal Rumble when it happens, challenges Bayley, and then she gets her moment at Mania. And then it's the reversal of NXT Takeover, and you get that situation. It's all nice and full circle. It's all nice and full circle, and it's a match that will deserve that spotlight. No way, shape, or form. But you've waited this long. It's a money match. Just do what makes sense and split them up. That's how you get us. That's how you get us, WWE. You tease it. Oh, we're gonna take it away from you. But it's there. The possibility's there. If only Sasha could win the Royal Rumble, we'd best come in and buy the pay-per-view and subscribe to the network. Did you know it's only $9.99? And then you can find out whether or not she does it, and she can conquer adversity and get a big massive pop, and then you get her on top of the world at Mania, and then Charlotte comes out with the briefcase.
Fuck that noise.
You do realise we've got a chance here of Charlotte not having a belt for like a year.
Well, close to it.
Close to a year. What a wonderful year it's been.
2020 is not all that bad.
Yeah, suddenly 2020.
It started.
We all
crap.
suffered through this year, so Charlotte Flair doesn't get a title run. That's it.
Well, she had a title run. It was a very push for her one.
You mean like all the others?
NXT.
Oh God, yes. Oh,
you forgot about that,
fuck
didn't you?
2020, man. I swear. Oh. Anyway, that was that.
Yeah.
Right. WWE title ambulance match. The man on Turbo's t-shirt versus the man with voices in his head in a all of your chickens come home to roost Mr. Orton match, basically. Tell the folks about this one, Turbo, because it was just...
Okay.
It was everything that I thought it wouldn't be.
Yeah, so what we were expecting was an ambulance match. A simple affair of them just, like, beating up each other to high heaven and just one of them throwing one into the ambulance.
We've got to sell that slambulance somehow.
Yes. Yeah.
We've got so WWE Slambulance. It has to be sold.
Yeah.
It's available at all good toys stockists.
Yeah, we should have seen it coming. I mean, the advertisements were ongoing, and Drew was like this. Drew's been in all of the kind of like advertisements all this year,
which is good.
He's been doing everything.
He shows the confidence.
Proper.
Shows the confidence.
Yeah, he's like. Yeah, he's been like proper like WWE. Like I know, what was it when Seth was top dog? Like Seth was like, you know, the big spokesman for the advertisements and stuff like that. And then when Roman was big, you know, well, always big dog. He was doing a lot of kind of like advertisements and stuff like that for WWE. Now Drew's getting that stuff and whatnot.
Big dog advertising strong.
But no, yeah, the match itself, yeah, we were just expecting like, you know, Orton and Drew just beating the living crap out of each other, and one of them, and we thought it was gonna be Drew riding into the ambulance and losing his title and whatnot. Turns out, we had what was it? A WWE Christmas Carol in the form of
that's a very good way of putting it.
Yeah, of Orton's wrestling past, present, and past.
And even further past, yeah. Past, paster, and pastish.
Yeah, with run-ins. So many run-ins. First off, we had Big Show as the first run-in.
It wasn't really a run-in.
Just,
I like how they did it. I like how they did it.
Yeah, it's like, it's basically what Orton did to Edge that one time, where he was like hiding it. How could you hide as a bloody cameraman? As the Big Show.
As the Big Show. It was the beard. It was the lack of the beard. The lack of the beard legitimately worried me. The lack of beard made me wonder, is he okay? You know,
I guess he just wanted to be clean. Yeah,
but the big grizzly look really works for it.
I mean, granted, what was it with this pandemic that we're going through? A lot of people
probably with the masks and stuff. It might well be.
Yeah, it's like it'd be a lot easier to just have things. I mean, with yourself and myself, our beards are not as like.
Well, yours is far more fuller than mine. This is literally what mine gets.
Alright, but even then, it's like mine's not that bad, you know, for wearing a mask and whatnot underneath. But no, for Big Show, it'd probably be a lot worse, harder for him. But yeah, he's obviously the first to interrupt in the match and taking care of Orton for a bit, and then they would feud into the back. They go into the back, you know, catering, whatnot. It's all there, all the crap, you know, kind of like food items that they get on, you know, discount. And suddenly, Christian comes out.
Christian, he's back to kick your ass. Dun, 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 dun. Catering's here, it's not anymore. And yeah, oh no, I was fine with that. Christian getting licks in. That was revenge for the pub.
I mean, fair enough, he got his licks in, but the problem is that he's not like an active wrestler. That's the problem. Like he's not an active wrestler at any point, and it's like, you know, and him just coming in to do that spot and whatnot. It's like, meh. Okay, fine. All right. Fine. You got your licks in, Christian. Let's keep going. So we keep going. It's like, then they go back to the ambulance. They what was it? Drew took a massive bump on the ambulance like windshield.
Yeah,
like thing.
Yeah,
really,
proper...
really hard.
Somebody had been watching a recent street fight.
Yep. Also, Orton. You don't do pins in a match that uses an ambulance in it. All right.
I'm fine with them doing that like once when they're getting all caught up into things.
But come on.
But otherwise, you know, it did look a bit silly. Bearing in mind this super veteran kind of forgot.
Yeah, and of course had to be featured in Botchamania. So well done, Orton. You got featured again. Congratulations.
That'll piss him off.
But it would lead to them going on top of the ambulance to then Orton, like I think, well, Mufasa. Well, I say Mufasa, but apparently, what was it? I think it was Mafu on Botchamania who did this ending, or it might have been someone else who did it for him. Basically, had the Mortal Kombat 4 kind of like ending. I think it was for Jax's ending.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah.
Where it's like Kano or someone else kills what was it? Sonya Blade, and like she gets thrown off of the cliff and whatnot, and then the evil character goes away, and then Jax gets him, and then he's like throws him off as well. And it basically it's that where Drew is taken off. He's like fallen to the floor from top of the ambulance. Orton's about to go, turn around, just walk down the other side of the ambulance to safely go off. Walks into a super kick by Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, the man incapable of selling the punt and an RKO. Who mysteriously got up on top of that ambulance and didn't use a ladder at all that was behind it. It was given away by the fact that he started climbing down this ladder after it was all done. But yes, we needed to get. But HBK also got his revenge.
Yeah, he gets a super kick and of course he's just pushes. Yeah. It's like right into obviously the well placed black tarped kind of like table
the crash pad of joy.
Well, it wasn't a crash mat. It was tables, I believe. It was under there.
Oh, was it tables there? I can't remember.
I think it might have been tables.
Might have been everything, frankly.
Anything.
We haven't had somebody do the electrical equipment bump in months. It could have been that. It could have been another ambulance for all.
An ambulance substitute with a mini ambulance.
Because actually that was what it was. It was just all the slam ambulances. It's
like, hey, this is Mattel. It's like WWE. We need to do some quality assurance on these ambulance. We've got about 2,000 units of the units. Where can we stock them? Just to keep them out of the way. Oh yeah, we've got this. We'll put it here. Don't worry. We'll find a way of testing it. Don't worry. Write it into the script, guys.
Hey, get a pallet of them. Have Orton land on them. They're all damaged. Get Orton and McIntyre to sign them. Limited edition. One of 250 as used in the ambulance match at Clash of
Champions.
Clash of vague people. It could have happened. It could have happened. If it was AEW, they would have done. They actually would have done if it was AEW.
That would be the Young Bucks doing that.
Yeah, the Young Bucks. Much freak. Slambulance.
But yeah, it would eventually.
Or ambulance. I'm sorry.
But anyway, we get into the final bits of the match where we finally get like a little more ruthlessness to the whole match, where Orton and Drew are just beating the living hell out of each other, and then eventually Drew gets the upper hand to get Orton into position in the ambulance, where he's just draping over the ambulance and whatnot. After I think it was like a Claymore outside beforehand.
Yeah, there was a Claymore, and then before this, Claymore kicked the door off the ambulance as well, and that kind of hurt him, and that was a thing.
Yeah. That was a factor into the match. But no, it's like after all that was said and done, it would lead to the one thing, seriously, I thought this was gonna be like the end of the feud after this, but of course
it should have been.
It should have been, but of course, WWE likes to just keep going back to the well and not fucking selling this shit now. We get Drew punting Orton in the head and putting him into the ambulance to finish the match. And who's the driver who sends him away?
Woo!
Yeah,
Charlotte Flair.
Ric Flair.
No.
Apparently, he's a licensed,
Ambulance driver. Yeah.
Licensed ambulance driver, or like emergency call driver, or anything like that.
He's been in plenty. He's been in plenty over the years. He's picked up some stuff.
Yeah.
I love how they had to quickly sort of. The ref desperately was trying to get the door out of the way, but the camera kept being on Flair, so it was like he really wanted to go and reach down and get that door out of the way of the tyre so that the ambulance could actually leave, but the camera stayed on Flair in a way that the ref was still in shot. So he was like, "Yeah, da 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 da. Please go in for a closer, close up." That's. Oh dear. So this was dumb. Also, speaking of things that were slightly dumb in this match, before the punt, I was legitimately worried about McIntyre. I thought he was having a stroke or something. Ooh, 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 ooh.
He likes to heat. He likes to heat.
Just like what the hell's up with him?
He liked to emphasize the gasprus of breath, or yeah.
He's like the world's butchest owl.
Hey! At least he's not taking any lessons from bloomin' Shane McMahon, where it's like. That's because Roman Reigns has winded him. Remember when Roman Reigns completely and utterly stuffed and Shane McMahon stuffed up that coast to coast spear spot, and Shane was just yeah.
Shane McMahon magic carping on the bloody ring mat. Fun times. Right. This led us on to the main event of the evening. The coronation of Roman Reigns as the heel he should have been 5 years ago in Paul Heyman Presents Wrestling. This was so Paul Heyman. This was a Paul Heyman match layout from in any way you look at it. It was different. It was good. The video package was amazing. That properly, but it felt real. And and there's only one person who had anything to do with this match and that's Paul. This was really, really good. I thought.
In terms of like story, this is
pure story. Pure story.
Yeah. This is like 80% story, 20% like work and whatnot, because they of course, like I said before, they really had to turn up the volume to get to hear what was going on this time around.
Yeah, but it worked. And it was so much better for the fact that we could hear them. Mm-hmm. And I mean, well, maybe not Roman half the time, but Roman kept repeating stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's the only downside with Roman. He likes to repeat himself over time.
That said,
I mean, granted, I repeat myself over time, but not to that extent.
Yeah, I mean, we're not at Natty levels, but as much as I love Natty, she's fucking terrible. Actually, she'll say one line, and she'll say that for the rest of the goddamn match, like it's a bloody pull string. Yeah. So, I mean, some of the stuff that Roman was actually coming out with, like, your children are watching. Oh my god! Like, yeah, and I was pretty much yelled at the TV, and your children are watching you. You're being this horrendous individual, and oh my goodness, it's like WWE finally getting it. This is how you make us
how
properly care about Roman.
Yeah.
We already cared about Roman Reigns because he came back from this horrible medical situation of his. We'd already started caring about Roman Reigns, but now we're actually getting heel Roman Reigns. And you know he's a heel because he came out and he's no longer got the vest on. The vest is dead.
Oh, and boy, weren't the women so so into that?
Yeah, but it's like, if he's got that kind of physique, why the hell isn't he showing it off? You know, he's got to come across as this bloody Samoan god.
Because he's a married man. I'm sure it was because of his wife. I'm sure his wife was like, I am not letting you go out there shirtless. He's like, wear this.
Yes, of course. Yes, dear. Yes, Mrs. Reigns. Actually saying that, joking about Mrs. Reigns and everything. I love the fact that in the video package it was real names. It was real names. We weren't pretending that it was Jimmy and Jey Uso and Roman Reigns. It was this is the Inoue family. This is the names. It was a good. I mean, the fact that everybody knew there was no hope in hell.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was like,
but we still got some legitimate moments of, oh my god, he might actually do it, which is good booking.
I mean, I didn't really This wasn't. This was like Lesnar versus Daniel Bryan situation where it's like, I know Lesnar is going to win, but there was moments in that match where obviously it's like, oh, he could eke out a win somehow here.
Yeah,
but I still didn't have that with this match though. This match still didn't have it in like Jay isn't Daniel Bryan. He wasn't gonna be able to get like that comeback win in any way, shape, or form, no matter what offense he had. But I was surprised at how long the match went. Anyways, like
it did go on.
I thought it would be like spear, Superman punch, spear, Superman punch, spear, Superman punch, spear.
Yeah. What we would have with if Goldberg was here, we'd have special move spam.
Yeah.
And it was just like make note of it, but no, it was a considered beatdown from a Reigns' point of view. The moments where Jay would get some offense in, and I'm thinking that the chop, when he chopped Roman, and Roman was just incensed by the fact that he would do a chop. It wasn't. Yeah. It was like, the fuck you doing, man? It's like you don't chop people. It's like you punch him and you freaking sock the shit out of him. Roman Reigns could throw a right. Roman Reigns could throw a right that looks like it's murdered somebody, and I've not really noticed that before until this one because I got to see it so damn often. But the fight back, the side of the annoyance at Jay doing offense, into the hang on a minute, he's getting offense into the oh shit, he's actually got momentum and what have you. One of the best bits was the kick out from the splash where we kind of thought he got it, but he kicked out and low blowed him at the same time.
Yeah, he's like
that was right so good. That was
innovating.
I've never seen that happen
sneaky
before.
Low blow.
I've never seen that happen before. It's always the look around, back leg of doom, which doesn't make any contact with your plums at all. To have that was very good. Heyman selling Jay's offense like I've made a mistake. I've made a
miscalculation.
Mistake. Roman's, declare me as the chief. Declare me as the head of the table. Together, and Heyman going, "You are the chief. You are my tribal chief." Which by the way, is really awkward. He got this white guy saying, "You are my tribal chief."
And this is coming from someone who's of Jewish descent.
It's all very awkward, and you've got, white America versus Samoa, and there's a whole thing there as well, and you could be read super, but Roman turning around to me, you don't get to say it. It doesn't matter what you say. It has to be him. He has to be the one to accept it. It's just really good.
And has a little more control. Roman is more in control in this partnership between him and Heyman.
Yeah. And that's interesting to see how that goes, because is that something that Heyman as a character is going to be happy with? Because he hasn't got complete control. He hasn't got, even when we've had Lesnar being off the rails a bit and threatening Heyman and even attacking Heyman.
Yeah.
You kind of still thought that realistically Heyman's pulling the strings here. And you don't get that with Roman.
No.
At least at the minute. So it's like, so when does Heyman's control, when it's revealed that he really is puppeteering everything, when does that happen?
Probably never.
But yeah, so we had the concise point, and then we got to the point where we had the spear, and telling off Charles Robinson, I'll beat the crap out of you if you get in my way again. It's like, you respect me, I'm the championship. I really want Charles Robinson to stick up for himself then and go, you respect me, I'm the ref.
Oh, come on. You can't, Charles Robinson's...
I kind of got annoyed by that. It's like, dude, if you have half as long a career as Charles Robinson has had in his business, you'll be a very lucky man. But the point when he got the spear and he doesn't go for the cover, and it's at that point you go, oh dear. We go up, we have some more stuff, more talking, and then starts knocking poor Jay about a bit. And here comes Jimmy with the towel. And it wasn't bloody Shakespeare, any of this stuff. No shape or form was this, in terms, it wasn't good in the sense of the.
You see,
the words.
WWE want to make movies, don't you know? But they didn't say AAA movies. This is like B-movie schlock, okay?
Welcome, everybody, to Heyman's House of Horror.
We already had that.
Yeah, December, Dismember.
Rules.
But, the feeling of it was very good, even if the words weren't, Roman, still berating and Jimmy saying, I'll throw in the towel. You don't have to do this, you don't have to prove anything. And Jay completely on his back, completely defenseless, holding his twin brother's hand and just going, please don't do this. Don't give this to him. It was good. And then we had the ultimate finale of Roman basically going, I'll make you throw the towel in, and just dragging him back to the center like he's a piece of meat, setting on him absolute ravenous, raining down punches left, right, and center. Very clear that if you don't do this now, he's gonna kill the guy.
Yeah.
Tao comes in and it's like, well, you've got it. You've got it. You're the chief. It's like, but it's cost you. And that's the undercurrent that I really liked. It's like, you've got what you wanted. You're the chief. You're the head of the table. You're the head of the family. It's just cost you your family. Which is going to be the interesting thing. It's all lovely. It's all going to set up the Rock. It's all going to set up the Rock.
Yeah.
If you smell what the Rock is booking,
that's what's expected for next year. But whether or not things will go well enough going forward, we'll find out.
We'll see. Dear. Well, he's going to have Black Adam to promote, so he'll want to do something.
That's been pushed back.
Pushed back even further.
Yeah, it's been.
How far can Black Adam as a movie be pushed back at this point? It really.
Like there's
We'll
there's
end up
so
with
like
Shazam 2
the
before we get
cinema
Black
scene
Adam,
has
right?
been completely decimated by
Oh,
this
absolutely,
whole thing as well. So
including the actual cinemas themselves, as we found out this week. But yeah, I thought this was very good indeed, very captivating as a spectacle. Best Roman Reigns match, I think, that there's been so far.
I agree. I mean, granted, Reigns has had good matches beforehand.
Oh,
like,
yes,
in terms of like work rate and whatnot. But this is from a character standpoint, of like character and story. This has to be one of his best matches.
Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing. And oh, by the way, people are surprised that people from the tag teams can go off and have decent singles runs. But those people. Where were you when we had the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys all going off? When, 5 of those guys have been recognised world champions. There comes a point in WWE where the seasoned tag teams all go off and have really nice singles runs, which is, there was this man called Kofi Kingston not that long ago. Again, you may recall. If it happens to the Usos, great. Absolutely. And I would be interested to see what happens if we get like a Reigns coalition, if we get like the opposite actually, because we always thought it was going to be like the Bloodline, didn't we, when this happened, that it would be the Usos under Reigns, and now it doesn't look like it's going to be the case unless he like forces them in. Are we, because we haven't got anything for New Day to do, are we going to end up with like the mutual respect bond kicking in? Is Big E gonna... Big E would size up to the big dog.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be a very interesting match, actually, those two, I think. But if we have the New Day sticking up for their brothers of the tag team circuit, that'd be fun.
Yeah. I would.
But then who do you get siding with Reigns then? Interesting. Who's not doing anything? Buddy Murphy, we're going to save you from this Seth Rollins thing. That's the new Shield. The Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. The Messiah, the Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah.
And then Buddy Murphy, Rey Mysterio's daughter's sort of friend. That's a boy, and. Oh my God! Why this storyline now?
Don't remind us.
But it happened. It didn't happen as intended, but that's what we got. So, all things being equal, but not the scores. Turbo, what did you have for this one?
For in score wise, out of a possible 10. I would have to give it a 7 this time around.
What was the things that really stood out for you in terms of the matches? You said there was 2 and then possibly 3.
Yeah, it's like the 2 matches that I just didn't like was the Raw tag match and the US title match.
Oh, the rubbish ones. Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
that's fair enough.
It's like
the ones that stood out as not being deserving of the card, yeah.
Those, because those 2 were just the ones that I just weren't like either invested in or were very shoddy at best, and those were shoddy. The third, the half mark was me with Drew and Orton, where I thought that match was just like the run-ins did not need to be there. I know they were telling a story for that, but still, I feel as though that the story was Orton and Drew, and I also wanted that to be the end of the feud, and of course, we're not having that, which is pissed me off.
Hell of a sell somehow.
Yeah, so
apparently,
but besides those, liked Asuka and Zelina. Heavily liked the 3-way tag match, not tag match, 3-way ladder match for the Intercontinental title. I'm absolutely messed with that. It was like what was it? We didn't talk about it, but this isn't a factor into the score and whatnot, but the 24/7 title being changed between R-Truth and
Drew Gulak.
oh, who was it?
Drew Gulak.
Drew Gulak, yes, yeah. The little things with that. I mean, Truth was just being Truth as always. He's disguising himself as a janitor.
Cesaro needs to talk to R-Truth. You know, I'll teach you how to do something absolutely ridiculous in terms of wrestling moves, says Cesaro, and you teach me how you get Vince McMahon to just always be happy with you.
But yeah, but no, everything else I was happy with. So yeah, I'll say 7. Yeah, that's what I think would be fair on this match, on this whole card. Like, yeah, 7.
Yeah. Despite what I said before the scores took place, I'm going to agree with you actually on 7. For me, again, the run-ins and stuff, as you say, while it was nice to see, Orton for once having proper comeuppance in terms of his actions, which doesn't really happen with Orton, and he does so much. Well, that was good. It did take me out of the match. Mm-hmm. I did kind of start. It's one of those ones where it's a long match, but you start looking at your watch type thing, like this has been going on a while.
Although that wasn't the longest match on the card, like you said, it was like it was the ladder.
It was a ladder
match that was the longest one.
Conversely, there was something about the ladder match that didn't quite click with me either. I recognise it was a really, really good ladder match, and I recognise a really good match overall, and again, character work, etc. But there was something intangible about it that didn't click with me fully. That said, loved both the Oscar matches, and even the Bayley one because of just the work involved in and around it. Really enjoyed the end because it was what it was. It was perfectly booked and presented, and was a great advertisement for what WWE could be. Turns out, if you actually let people do proper stuff, then we had the two mid of the card matches where I cared about as much of them as you did. So
we're on mutual ground.
We were on much like our predictions. Our scores were effectively the same as well, just for a little shift around maybe in preferences a little bit, but compare it to the previous pay-per-view and it was miles better. Did we give that 3 and a 2 or something ridiculous?
Yeah, somewhere around that. Yeah.
But that's that. 7 and a 7 wraps up this particular year's Clash of Champions, the Gold Rush. Woo! Look at that Gold Rush. Look at it go.
Yeah, with the one title being changed hands.
One title change.
Actually, no. Technically, it wasn't even changed hands. It was technically retained.
True. That's true. One of the two belts that were hanging up was indeed retained. So it was actually half. It was a 0.5 of a change. 0.5 of a title change. Oh my god! But yeah, that was that.
I'm guessing we were running on currency, currency exchange rates for the Gold Rush. It's like
there's gold in them matches, but
it's
not here apparently.
One title change in the UK was half a title change in the US.
Oh dear. Anyway, but don't worry, you can get some coupons or something. And you get yourself another title change. 2 title changes for 1. There we go. Coming soon. 24/7 title. There we go. So what's up next? Is it Hell in a Cell next?
Hell in a Cell for WWE, yeah.
Hell in a Cell for WWE, and then after that we've got Full Gear for AEW. What else is there to say other than thank you very much for watching and or listening to us ramble on, especially me, about Clash of Champions, a far better pay-per-view than we've had recently from WWE, and it's a welcome change. Who knows? The rest might be watchable this year too. I'm not holding out much hope, frankly.
Don't hold that much hope for Hell in a Cell.
Not for Hell in a Cell at all.
After last year, probably not.
I'm predicting a 4 already. Let's put it that way. Predicting a 4. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I've been Kevin. He's been Turbo.
Yep.
We'll see you very soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.